outside of Dave's Dwarf Cichlids, and we're gonna learn you about some rams and some Apistogrammas, how to keep them properly, which one is the best to keep. We're gonna take the fear out of Apistogrammas and rams, so stick around. All right, so if this is your first time visiting my channel, please subscribe, hit the like bell, and leave a comment. This channel lives and dies by your participation. Thank you in advance.
Here we got a bunch of, we got 4 different types of rams in here. We got German blues, electric blues, we have black or dark night long fins, which you almost never see. We have regular black rams. We have gold rams that come from the black ram, because black or a dark night, whatever you want to call them, people call them all kinds of stuff. But what happens is they will breed gold rams and then black rams. So you'll end up with those 2 out of the black rams / dark night rams.
So there's not a true breeding true black knights.
There is one guy that I'm aware of. He is in South Africa. His name is Marco. He is, I believe, the developer of this black ram. He also does a blue knight as well, but he's the only person that I'm aware of that breeds true black rams 100%.
He actually has walk-in customers on an appointment basis, which before we go any further, because we all gonna talk about rams and apistos, before we go any further, how can people get a hold of you?
Best place to get a hold of me is my Facebook page, Dave's Dwarf Cichlids. And on that page you'll find all the information. Anytime you want to get a price list as far as or inventory, what I have, just message me there. I respond pretty quickly. I do a lot of online sales. You ship. Yeah, I do a lot of shipping. So if I don't get to you right away, I'm probably packing up boxes.
And I'm going to go ahead and leave all his contact information in the description below, so check that out. So that people don't kill these rams because they want to try them out. How do you properly keep rams?
I'm going to say a few different things about rams. Rams at the store, they're usually $8, $9, $7. If you're going to buy your rams from a store, buy your medications at the same time. I'm a huge believer in that. That is the reason why your rams are dying, most likely. Rams, most of them come from Indonesia. They are bred too quick, and they are pumped with steroids and medications to color them up more and to make them grow faster. And because of those things, the rams have issues.
Now, where do your rams come from?
They come from me and some of my other personal breeders I work with.
So they're privately bred in the United States?
Yes.
All right.
These are in the United States. They are bred by hobbyists. They're not bred by people that are just trying to pump out.
No assembly line?
No assembly line. I mean, you'll notice the difference. My fish are fed extremely high quality food. The flake food I feed, it's from Ocean Nutrition. It's called Prime Reef Flake. Can you pass me that right there? The purple one? This is the product right here. This is the best food you can feed any fish.
Why is that?
The protein is like 61%.
Oh, that's a lot.
There's almost no junk filler in this at all. This is good for fresh and salt water. So this is my main staple that I feed my fish.
I'm gonna have to try that out.
Yep. I mean, a container like this on Amazon, I believe it's like 13, 14 bucks. So it's a little expensive, but I mean, it shows. I mean, they love this stuff. They're very, very healthy. A couple other things I use is Discus Gold mini pellets. That is
Hikari brand.
This one right here, Hikari. So I use these 2, and then I also use Hikari frozen bloodworms. The only bloodworms I will use is Hikari. They are the cleanest bloodworms out there. Especially with Discus, if you're using the San Francisco Bay or any other type besides Hikari, most likely you're going to end up with hole in the head in your Discus.
Well, what is the tank requirement if you're just keeping, let's say, a trio of rams, because you might want to breed them later on?
Okay, if you're keeping them for maybe a community tank, something like that, I would say no less than a 20-gallon. For either a pair or a trio. If you're looking to breed, what you want is a 10-gallon tank. You want a clay pot tipped sideways. You want a clay dish tipped the smallest side up. And then you want a clump of Java moss and a sponge filter. That's it.
And what about the water chemistry, the temperature? Because I think that's a little bit different than what most people want to keep these fish with tetras in a community tank.
Right.
Tell me why that's not a good idea.
Rams like hot water. So to keep your rams happy, you want to be minimum 82. 82 to 84 is what I like to keep my rams at. Now, if I'm trying to get a pair to breed that's, you know, being a little fussy, I bump that up to 86 degrees. Apistos, on the other hand.
What about the pH on the rams?
pH on the rams, I stay around 6.6 to 6.8.
Okay. And what would be, well, with that type of, with that low pH and the high temperature, high protein diet, I know, like, I'm a big angel guy. Angels seem to be a good match for them.
Yep.
What else other than
Angels, Discus. There's some dither fish that do really well. You could do hatchets. You could do pencil fish. A few different types of plecos. The hatchet, the pencil, and the dwarf cichlid for me is perfect because you got your high level water fish. The pencil fish are usually around the medium, and then the rams are kind of all over the place, but tend to stay more towards the bottom. So you got a nice different 3 levels. You got different colors going on, and they all work really well together.
All right, so let's transition over to the Apistogrammas. There's a bunch of different types. There's also a cichlid, a dwarf cichlid, and they're more pricey than the rams. Usually, why is that?
They tend to be a little more showy. They have more colors. They get a little bigger.
What's the size on a full-grown?
Full-grown. These guys are triple red Kekatoides. The males get about 3.5 inches. The females about 2.5 to 2.75, right around there.
And the rams?
And the rams tend to be full length at about 2.5.
So, what would be the difference? How would you properly keep Apistogrammas?
The temperature is the main difference. Apistogrammas, when they're really happy, they love leaf litter. They love sand. They love sticks. So minus the sand in this tank, this is like a perfect environment for them. They like a little bit of the green to either munch on or hide in. They love the leaf litter. Like if the leaf litter was like up to here, they'd be happy as could be.
What is important? Why is leaf litter important for the Apistogramma?
It's based on their natural environment. They mostly live in like drain ditches and stuff like that. So they get a lot of low flow water. That's why I got a sponge filter, and I got a little hob filter that has a light flow. It makes them comfortable, and they love to just hide in there. I put a coconut. I put a piece of PVC pipe, and then there's another coconut over here that's cut sideways. Something that's interesting about this, and this also helps with the pH. So, I mean, this tank is probably around 6.6 to 6.8. This one's probably around 6 to 6.2 because of the leaf litter. So the leaf litter will help lower the pH. Also gives some natural tannins, which are great for the fish. Interesting fact about Apistos, if you're not aware, rams like to lay on flat surfaces. You know, round rock or a clay pot, clay dish, you know, something along those lines. Apistos like to lay inside a coconut or inside something at the very top, so they actually breed upside down, which is kind of interesting.
But the leaf litter is a big thing for Apistos if you were going to keep them.
For me, yes, because I try to keep stuff pretty natural.
Which one of these two you think are easier to keep? I'm thinking the Apistos are easier to keep because they're not as...
They're more hardy.
Yeah, they're more hardy,
yeah,
but they're more expensive.
They're a little more expensive. I mean, not too much. Maybe $15 more per pair. But especially if they're more forgiving. You know, their swings as far as pHs and stuff like that, they're a little more hardy, to where rams are a little more delicate, but there's thousands of different types of Apistos. So, I mean, if you ever go online and start Googling and researching Apistos, there's thousands of different kinds.
Because of their small tank requirements, if you live in an apartment, they probably can make you a nice little chunk of change if you decided you didn't have a lot of space, but you wanted to get into breeding for profit.
Yeah, I mean,
these are high demand. These are very high demand right now.
Yeah, Apistogramma triple red Kekatoides, which is what these guys are. These are younger adults. They're probably about 3 months old. So at 3 months old, they're starting to breed. They're at that breeding age. They breed a lot easier than rams do, and their fry are quite a bit bigger, so it's easier to feed them. And they also, on the other hand, they will, for a successful batch, you'll have maybe 35, 45 Apistos that, fry, to where on rams you can have 150 fry. That's for a very successful batch of both. But on average, you'll get 25 to 40 Apisto fry, and their requirements are not as strict as rams are as far as breeding goes.
What would you, as just one tank with some specimens in there, what do you recommend for water changes?
One tank, like say you got a pair of Apistos
or rams,
you're looking, and you feed twice a day, you could probably get away with, I would be comfortable with 25% twice a week.
Okay, so every 3 days or so.
Yeah.
25%.
Yeah.
If you're getting rams, you definitely want to do this, and you definitely don't want to do that. And same for the Apistos. What would you say? That people might not know, that you found in your hobby over the years.
With rams, like I said, you're keeping water, and the fish just happen to be in there. So make sure you have nice, clean water. Make sure you're feeding high protein foods, and definitely make sure the water is above 82 degrees, 82 or above. Those are the basics of keeping them. With Apistos, 25% a week water change, and they'll be happy. Good protein foods. They love live foods. If you can do, Daphnia, brine shrimp, stuff like that. I mean, you'll see that they'll come up and they'll stay up here if you have some floating plants, and they're basically hunting. So that's kind of cool to watch as well. They like a lower light than rams do, so if the light was a little lower, that'd be good. And definitely have some type of cave, some plants, some sand. They love sand, and also some different leaf litters.
And both these fish are really, really good with plant crabs.
Yep.
Definitely don't do this. What are we talking about?
Definitely don't put any of these with African cichlids. They're South American. They're not African. They're nowhere as close to aggressive as people would think because of the word cichlid. So the other thing, people say, well, I got 2 or 3 or 4 rams and they're always fighting. My thing is add more rams. If you see, nobody's fighting.
So the amount of rams diffuses the aggression.
Yeah, just like with African cichlids, the more you have together, the less aggression you end up with.
Like I said, I'm not as versed, but I would imagine that they would have made good tank mates, but no, their requirements are different.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a good idea to keep these two together, or at least for a long period of time, unless you have a really big tank with lots of plants and hiding places, then that would work.
But the temperature issue.
But these guys wouldn't be as happy. The Apistos wouldn't be as happy. Another fun fact about breeding on these guys, you can breed them in a 10-gallon tank. You can also, something about these that are different than the rams is your temperature really matters when it comes to male-female ratio for your fry. So you want to hit 78 as steady as you possibly can to have that good mix of male to female ratio on your fry. So if you're going high, you're going to end up with more of one sex. If you go too low, you're going to end up with more of the other kind of sex. So that's a big deal because everyone wants them. A lot of people want them as pairs, but I got to tell you, you get one of these males and you have it as a showpiece in a smaller tank, it looks awesome.
And another point on breeding, if you wanted to pick one to breed for profit, the Apistogrammas way easier to tell male from females.
Yes.
because they are different. With
Yes.
the rams, you have to.
The male is more showy, he's got more color to him, to where the females are less colored. And when the female is getting ready and she wants to start breeding, she'll turn bright yellow or gold or something like that. For the most part of the Apistos. On these type, the female will turn really, really goldish color.
So that was pretty cool. It's not often that I get to learn something new. I mean, it happens every once in a while. After you've been doing aquariums for a while, you pretty much hear or see everything. You just might see it in different ways. I happen to learn a little bit about the differences between Apistos and rams that I didn't know before. So I consider this visit a win.